Imagine this beautiful island with vibrant green trees, crystal clear blue water. Birds are flying, there's smooth sand. The sun is shining, and I mean the breeze is inviting. It's just right. Not too hot, not too cold. This is a place that you would love to be, right? Well, now I want you to imagine this other island. Your heart is pounding. Voices filling your head, causing you to escape from reality. Your stomach aches, and your lungs practically collapse so you can't even speak. Now, is that a place you want to go? And I know you might be thinking, well, maybe I think we'll stick over here this island. This sounds more enjoyable. And believe me, they would have to drag me from this island because I would not want to leave. But unfortunately, half of us, and including people in this very room, visit that other island frequently. So, if you were to give this island a name, what would you call it? I know some people might say afraid, fear, worry, or even petrified, but I would call it the island of anxiety. Anxiety is this feeling of uneasiness or worry that causes nervous behavior. So when you pace back and forth and sweat floods your armpits in the palm of your hands as if a dog licked it, and I know this sounds disgusting, but hey, let's be honest, it's the truth. That's of anxiety. I know for me personally, when I'm nervous, I tend to yawn quite a bit. And this is because not enough oxygen is flowing through my brain, so it kind of triggers my body to figure out the best way to breathe in more air. I don't know, has anybody ever done this? I mean, I feel like I'm a pretty weird child, and you can ask anybody. But I actually figured out that this is pretty common, so that makes me feel just a tad bit better, I guess. But based on my research, there are more than 3 million people with anxiety disorders in the US, starting at the age of 6, which is incredibly young if you ask me. And 3 million, that's just a huge number on its own, which just goes to show that anxiety has control over us. But what I want to teach you today is how to not let anxiety control you. So I'm going to tell you this little story. During the summer of 2020, at the very beginning, and I'm talking stores closed, people fighting over toilet paper beginning, I went to this broadcast camp. And I'm going to be honest, my mom kind of forced me to attend this camp, and I really did want to go, but it would help me grow or help me learn. You know that thing that parents say just to make their kids feel better about going to summer school? Yes, so I went to this camp clueless, not knowing a thing, and with so much anxiety. And to my luck, on the first day, we were interviewing someone famous. Just great. So not knowing what to expect, I acted as if, everything was A-okay when it obviously was not. The host gave us brief instructions, and then it was time to start. And to my surprise, I was up first. So, of course, little Miss Nia just went into complete panic mode. I'm talking notes foaming in one hand. I'm like, oh, Lord, what am I going to do? I'm just in a huge dilemma at this point, can't even think straight. But I did manage to stutter out the first few questions, and then it was on to the next person. And since we're on a computer screen in this virtual world, I was able to hide. So on one hand, I'm texting my mom, and as you can see by the screen, I feel like I'm literally going to die. Just about to straight up pass out. But after it was all over, I just remember running to my mom, because at the time my dad wasn't home, and I cried, and I cried, and I cried. I'm just boo-hoo crying like, girl, who done this to you? What happened? And so after I was finished crying, I was able to talk. And it was from this experience that was slightly traumatic, I learned I can use my anxiety as a superpower. So when you envision superheroes, you might think of Superman, Doctor Strange, maybe even Captain Marvel. And they all have something in common, which is receiving special powers, right? Where Superman, for example, has X-ray and heat vision. But I'm here to tell you that superpowers don't only exist in fictional movies. So when you think of anxiety is this super ability that can be used to fight evil. And no, I'm not talking about Thanos and villains like the Joker evil. I mean negative energy. So when those negative thoughts start appearing in your head, it's time to use your strength. Reverse that negative mindset, changing it into a positive one, defeating the villains. An example would be you're at a soccer tournament. You practiced day and night on and off the field until the street lights came on. You just knew to play like the back of your entire hand. But when you step on that field, you think that all of that hard work just goes to waste. You start thinking things are gonna go downhill from there, like I suck, I should have never chosen soccer, I didn't practice enough, which we all know wasn't true. You just think the worst of everything, but instead, I want you to use that energy to play even harder just to make yourself proud. So, how did I use it? Well, relating to the story that I just shared with you, I used my anxiety as a fuel and encourager to prove myself wrong the next day. I was much more prepared and, as you can see, was able to control that emotion that could have taken over, influencing all the negative thoughts in the world, but instead use it to emerge, becoming the best person that I can be, even with my anxiety. And as a person who doesn't believe when someone says, just take a deep breath and all the emotions will go away. No, it's easier said than done, but it just takes practice. So now to reintroduce anxiety. Anxiety is an ability that can be used to conquer negativity and strengthen your confidence. And tracing back to those two islands that I talked about earlier, one now was this beautiful fantasy world and the other one, let's just say, wasn't so great. It's okay to be on either island, just knowing how to manage your anxiety and using it as a superpower for good is key. So, to all the 3 million people who are struggling with anxiety, walk away today knowing that anxiety ain't the boss of you. Thank you.